Give you a bit of a behind the scenes look at things today. Not restoring a tool, but showing what's next on the menu. I mean, I got a hatchet to do, but went through the shed, went through my tools, found not only things to restore, but things I'm going to need to restore in order to do more and better restorations, including a bigger bucket with vinegar. I have this wonderful little vise that needs a bolt on the bottom of it to clamp it to the side of a table. It needs this handle replaced. As you can see, it's all bent up and broken. I have hacksaw blades in various condition and size, different teeth, other files and rasps that need various bits of work, drill guide that needs a lot of cleaning, chisels, some of which need sharpening, some don't, more files, and more files, and more files, saws and their extra blades for various purpose, hammers that need handles, more sandpaper. All in all, tons of stuff. I even found things I didn't know I had anymore. Screwdrivers I'm going to need for various purposes. Pliers that would be fine, but are more than a little seized up. Monkey wrenches. A couple of those in there. A gear puller. Things that work fine but need cleaning. Things that barely work but don't need cleaning. More chisels. Off topic, fuel for my lighter. Things that need to be cleaned up better. More clamps. A lot of little bits of copper that I can bring in for scrap as well. All in all, large amounts of stuff, as you can see. Drill bits to be cleaning. All types of things that just exist and need various degrees of cleaning or not, but would be variously useful. A second 4 in hand. Different company. Don't even think this one has a stamp on it. Handle stock. A lot of those files. Screwdriver bits. Some of which are still in the package. Even bits of brass I can cut down for scrap. All types of everything. And more additions for the bucket of bolts. It's going to be a lot of work, but this will be the next bunch of stuff. It's going to be useful in here, or made to be useful. I'm going to have to buy a few things. More vinegar and more baking soda, of course, but also handles for the hammers. I'm going to have to drill out handle stock with files that don't have handles. Another chisel. Things that need to be sharpened. I mean, I'm going to show you this one. As you can see, it was put down hard on something somewhere. Probably hit a chunk of metal or hit a concrete floor when someone was chiseling through a piece of wood, or hit a nail in a piece of wood maybe. But it needs to be sharpened. So I'm going to separate this stuff up into things that I need to get out the bench grinder for, things that I can just do with the vinegar and the baking soda, things that I need to make handles for, all that type of stuff. Things I need to make fully fabricate replacement parts for as well, like making a new handle for that vise. It's a nice one though. I mean, Sheffield. Markless Sheffield. Let's see what it looks like. Smooth plate. So yeah, so that it doesn't mark your work. And that definitely needs cleaning. But I now have more things to work on, so I'll be able to show you more of the things I can do. Alright, this will be tacked on to the start of the next video I do. So, well, I guess this is where you find out what the next project is. I divided up that big pile into 3 small piles. I got the stuff that just needs cleaning. A little bit of clean, soak it, sand it, oil it. That pile. This stuff needs cleaning and sharpening. So that and that hatchet in there is going to be in this pile too. Yeah, knock off broken edges. That's all banged up to hell. I got to straighten out that end. That's going to involve a little bit of power tools. Then there's the stuff that needs cleaning and or repair. So that needs to be repaired. These all need handles. 6 files and a rasp and two hammers that need handles. That needs all the bolts on it. It's a good, good crowfoot gear puller, but it's got no bolts. So I got to find bolts to fit that. So that goes in this pile. Looked up the stamps on things, looked up the markings on things, see what's worth what's worth saving, what's worth maybe selling or keeping, heirloom stuff, I mean, these are old, but they're not worth a lot. I came across this little beast. I'll put you in a stand so you can see it better. Get your down view of it. There. This, I found out, is a military piece. There's a stamp on it right there, which is an arrowhead surrounded by a C. Come on, focus. Focus! Well, you almost had it. Fuck off. Anyway, the arrowhead surrounded by the C means it was issued. You can almost see it there, but not quite. Stamp on the blade. Oh, other side. Says Case XX. Metal Stampings Limited. Come on. If it just said MS Limited or XXMS Limited, it would have been 1948 to 1952, made in a plant in Nova Scotia for the Canadian military. If it says Case on it and has everything out in long lettering, it was made 1942 to 1945, made in the U.S. for the Canadian military. For the Canadian Navy, it's a rigging knife. Has I think it's a 3 3/4 or 3 3.5 or 3 3/4, something like that. Sheep's foot blade means it's got that chopping angle to it. A marlin spike, which is in pretty good shape, and a punch blade. Well, this one is in reasonably good shape. If it were made on what's called the 1905 pattern, which would have been the ones before 1942, these scales would be silver. These ones, 42 onwards are aluminum. And they made them up until, like I said, the mid-50s, early to mid-50s. This one needs a little bit of a cleanup. With some filing done on there so that buckle will swing all the way across. So that little edge needs to be filed off there. I can get the rust off it and clean it up. So this will be our first patient in this new pile of stuff here. And we'll see what we can do with it. It's not an incredibly expensive or valuable antique. I mean, I see them in about this condition going for about 90 bucks. So I don't know if I want to sell it or not. I mean, I've got relatives in military and former military and military veterans and every generation of my family as far back as I can think. And this didn't come from my family. I found it in the woods about 2007. So yeah, I'll clean this up. This will be our first patient. I'll get everything set up. We'll put this in the bucket with that hatchet, which has been sitting there forever. Put this in the bucket of vinegar and see how it turns out tomorrow. All right, time for the next patient on the table. Had it sitting in the vinegar overnight. And just soaked it down with baking soda. Let's get this cleaned up. Doesn't need much cleaning, but a little bit will definitely help it. Wipe her down quick. The rest of the black oxide off of it. I'm happy that there's not a lot of rust on it because it is of some historic interest. I'm not incredibly valuable. There's not a lot of rust. There's a little bit of rust staining on the aluminum, which I have to get that cleared off. Also needs to get that little edge filed down there. So we'll do that next. Like the aluminum's so soft. There. Oh, that turns freely. Let's get the moisture out of those grooves in the inside there. One of the reasons I'm doing this the way I'm doing this is I'm showing people you don't need to buy the expensive rust removers and chemicals and everything else. You can just work with simple things. Like, I've already got Windex around the house. Vinegar's cheap and easy to get hold of. There's that much dirt in there. Vinegar's cheap and easy. Baking soda's cheap and easy. It shouldn't be difficult. And it's not. You clean your cutlery after you eat, after you cook. There's no reason it shouldn't be just as easy to clean anything else made of metal. And it is just as easy. You just have to know how. There we go. We got that ready. It's all cleaned up as good as I want to get it. I'm not going to sharpen the blade. I'm going to leave it as is. But I am going to oil everything. Same as everything else I do. So this is not difficult cleaning and restoration. Let's get that marlin spike down. Let's see. It's supposed to be 3 3/4 inch blade. We got 3 1/4 inch. So 3 1/4 inch blade. That's pretty good. Still has that swept shape on it for chopping. So it's not a stabbing tool. I'm not going to call it a weapon because it isn't. Let's get that stamp cleaned up so you can read it. And this one here. let's get a good view of the stamp if we can. Case XX, metal stamping. On the bottom there underneath it says LTD. So, there we have our military antique. As restored as it needs to be, which is just a general cleaning. The stamp's a little more visible. It's 3 lines making an arrowhead inside the letter C, which means, as I said before, it was issued by the military to naval personnel. And I found it out in the woods on a farm on southern Ontario. I don't think I have any relatives in the Navy. I know we got one in the Army, had one in the Air Force. But I still like the idea of taking care of military memorabilia and paraphernalia like this. It's a sailor's rigging knife, sometime between 42 and 45, so it would have seen World War II. Whether it was anywhere special, I don't know. But it is what it is, and there we go. All right. Next thing on the agenda is that hatchet, which is currently sitting in the baking soda and hot water. So that'll be tomorrow's video, or well, the next video. Okay, talk to you next time. One of the interesting things about using this particular technique with metal to get rid of rust is you can see really easily, because of the discoloration from the vinegar and the baking soda, you can see change in color for where the blade is hardened and not, until you wipe it off. Toilet paper seems to be doing a damn good job of cleaning this, so maybe we'll get some more. But as you can see, show you up close, the huge difference between the hardened edge and the not hardened rest of it. Let's wipe that down a bit better. Get it back to a proper metal color instead of this black and gray. At least a quick wipe. This does have to be sharpened, which I can't do right this second. At least. Not until I can break out the bench grinder, which I don't have space or time for right now. Now, this is not a special or important tool of any kind. It's a cheap camp hatchet. The type you don't mind when the kids take out with a tent in the woods for a couple of nights. So you know it's only going to end up getting ruined anyway. But seeing as it's the only one I have, I'll do a little bit to take care of it. There are little bits of pitting and damage there. You want to get into those pits, get that surface rust off so it doesn't spread. There. Now we can see the pitting across here. I'm obviously not polishing and buffing these. That's not the point. The point is to get the tool functional and clean. Which in this instance, show you that I have to take that ridge off there. Let's show you up close. Where it's been used as a hammer, it started to mushroom. That can be taken down with the bench grinder, which I will do when I sharpen it, because that is duller than shit. There is no way that's going to chop wood. But that's not for right now. Right now, I'm going to take my files to it. Those ones right there that also need work. Let's see if we can take that down. Set you up towards the vise. There you are. So you can kind of see what's going on. I got one file with a handle on it. Where'd I put the damn thing? There it is. There's a bit of leather or fabric or anything really. Try to protect the blade, the structure of it, from the jaws of the vise. Just protect from getting marked too much. It is doing something. Still got a bit of a ridge there. Get it smoothed down to where the surface matches. It's starting to there. Yeah, got it on that edge. Just got to work that all the way across to the back. Luckily, it's only the blade edge that's hardened, so this will actually cut it. If you don't have the file card, which I don't, just use a wire brush to clean the teeth of the file. File card's a useful thing to have, and I'm going to have to get one. But at the moment, use what I have to hand. There we go. I think it's pretty reasonable for a few minutes with a hand file. Still a touch of a ridge there. It's not incredibly noticeable. And it'll keep that from mushrooming out further and cracking, which is why you want to stop from doing that. I'll do the other two edges, this one and this one here. Then I'll show you what it looks like. Put that file down. Still a touch of a lip, as I said there, but the edges are down. It's done well across the top. Just smooth it out to match the existing surface and get rid of the mushrooming. Worked out really well across here. You can see where the surfaces have been banged up and knocked all over the place from people using it as a hammer. It's not good, but it is still a serviceable tool. There is still pitting, but that's on the hardened portion, and the rust has actually been scraped out of the pits with the wire brush. So next step on this is going to be sharpening it, which I can't do right away. So for the moment, I'm going to take some Windex, clean it, and then I'm going to oil it, and that'll be it for right now. I'm going to show you what the next step's going to be. See, still a lot of dirt coming off of this, which is good. Clean it up as nice as it can be cleaned. It's not like it has any moving parts I have to worry about lubricating, but putting a little oil on it, a little WD-40, will inhibit rust. That means until such point as I'm ready to start sharpening it, clean it up even more, it can sit up on the shelf with all the other finished ones, and it's not going to get any worse. So there you go. Next step in this project is supplies. We got the ones that need to be sharpened and cleaned, the ones that need to be repaired and cleaned, and little bitty pieces here that just need to be cleaned. To help with that, we got a bigger bucket. We also hit the dollar store pretty hard. We got a second box of, well, picked up 2 boxes, the other one's up on the table, of baking soda. We got 5 gallons of vinegar. We've got some SOS pads. We've got a jug of Windex for refilling that other bottle. And we got some Mr. Clean to mix with the Windex to make jewelry polish. So I'll fill that bucket up with vinegar to clean those. Then we'll see what happens next time, or see what happens tomorrow. Talk to you next time.